Ford is losing billions. Ford is a century-old automotive giant, but it is now struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing world and facing a massive financial hit. Its latest earnings report reveals staggering losses of $2 billion, and experts predict that the company is about to lose more money this year. What went wrong? The answer lies in a technology that's taking the world by storm: electric vehicles. As the automotive industry undergoes a historic transformation, some companies are thriving while others are faltering. This revelation by Jim Farley came as a surprise because most CEOs tend to keep such information under wraps. Ford Motor Company recently declared that its earnings in the fourth quarter and for the last year didn't meet the predicted targets. They revealed a loss of $2.1 billion. The CEO, Jim Farley, admitted in a press release that the automaker should have performed better in 2022. Farley stated that the car manufacturer had the potential to earn an additional $2.1 billion in profits if it had executed and performed better. Ford's earnings before interest and taxes were $10.4 billion, which was lower than expected. He added that this loss occurred mainly because of supply chain problems. This was the loss for 2022, and the legacy automaker has boldly declared that it will encounter a loss of $3 billion in its electric vehicle sales for this year. Despite this considerable setback, the company is still hopeful to achieve its previously established profit goals, which are expected to be within the range of $9 billion to $11 billion. Profit soon from its electric vehicles, despite a 40% loss margin last year when it sold 96,000 EVs, bringing in a revenue of $5.3 billion. By the end of 2026, the automaker predicts an 8% profit margin as it plans to increase EV production, which will result in a global production rate of 2 million EVs annually by that year. However, it's important to note that Ford's profit margin for EVs will still be less than Tesla's. Tesla reported a profit margin of 22% in the fourth quarter, excluding interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization costs. This indicates that Tesla is making a significant profit selling EVs, while traditional car makers are struggling to do so. Before we talk about it, if you think that the video is interesting, make sure to give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss more amazing videos like this one. When John Lawler, Ford's chief financial officer, was asked about the possibility of Ford reaching its EV profit goals during an investor conference call, he expressed confidence in the projection. And there is a reason why he is so sure that Ford will be successful. John revealed Ford's one of many moves to catch up with Tesla in terms of EV profitability. He said that the company has hired many Tesla alumni. The company believes that the engineers who designed great vehicles for Tesla would be able to do the same for Ford. Judging by the losses booked by Ford recently, one might think that the company is panicking. While it is true that the CEO has taken some major steps to recover losses, the CFO is sounding pretty confident. He stated, "Look, it's about the talent we have," Lawler said. "We all know there's one profitable EV manufacturer. The folks that designed those vehicles are at Ford. It's a whole new way of how we're designing vehicles, very much focused on energy efficiency. And we have the people at Ford that know how to do that." But will it be easy for Ford to achieve its goal of the production of 2 million electric vehicles annually by 2026? Absolutely not. Ford's CFO has acknowledged that EV startups generally lose money while they invest in developing knowledge and building volume, as well as gaining market share. However, the recent shortages of minerals like nickel, lithium, and cobalt, as well as the closure of domestic mines, could affect the U.S. auto industry's ability to produce enough EVs by the Biden administration's 2035 target. Farley concurred with Lawler's comments that Ford's EV division is still in the startup phase and must invest in building plants and developing new vehicles before scaling up. Jim Farley has emphasized the importance of onshoring the production of full-size trucks in the U.S. He stated that the country needs to establish mines and processing plants for materials like batteries and rare earth, which are necessary for building electric vehicles and their batteries. According to Farley, investing in these sites is crucial, and the government must partner with people to improve mines and processing. Ford is willing to invest in this, but importing batteries and minerals from overseas is not a viable option. Farley stated, "We can build all the plants, but what's good if we're importing batteries?" Earlier this year, Ford reduced the price of one of its electric vehicles, the Mustang Mach-E, because the company increased the production of these cars. Tesla also joined in by cutting down the prices of its less expensive models in various markets globally. Ford's CEO Jim Farley mentioned during an earnings call earlier this year that they faced several production difficulties that made the EV ramp-up more expensive than they had initially anticipated. Although both the Mach-E and F-150 Lightning EV pickup has many customers on their waiting list, Farley disclosed that Ford encountered several production issues which led to additional costs. The production issues we are talking about will surprise you because these kinds of mistakes are not expected from one of the biggest car manufacturers. Farley explained that Ford had no idea that the wiring harness for Mach-E was unnecessarily longer by 1.6 kilometers, adding that it was 70 pounds heavier, which increased the battery cost by an extra $300. He also mentioned that they had underinvested in braking technology to save on battery size, causing further production issues. According to Farley, these and other costly problems made Ford lose an estimated $2 billion in profits. Nonetheless, Ford remains committed to improving their EV production process to meet the increasing demand and keep up with their competitors in the market. It is not surprising that Ford is taking every step possible to cut costs and recover the losses. To stay in the competition, Ford is laying off thousands of workers. Jim Farley said, "I've watched several leadership teams at Ford. My perspective is we can cut the cost and cut people." Ford is making significant changes to its business structure to prepare for the future of transportation. The automaker has created 5 business units, each with a specific focus on innovation and growth. These units include Ford Blue for traditional combustion engines, the Model E electric vehicle unit, Ford Pro for commercial and government fleets. The 4th is Ford Autonomous Vehicles and Mobility for future tech, and the 5th unit is Ford Credit. With these changes, Ford hopes to stay ahead and be competitive in the always changing automotive industry. Last year, Ford Blue had earnings of $6.8 billion, and Ford Pro had $3.2 billion, while Ford Credit made $2.7 billion, covering the losses from the previous year. This year, Ford expects to earn approximately $7 billion from Ford Blue and $6 billion from Ford Pro. However, profits from Ford Credit are expected to decrease by approximately 50% to $1.3 billion. Farley stated, "We have created effectively 3 separate parts of our auto business because we believe they need that focus. You can't ask an electric person to work on Ford telematics for a pro customer. You can't ask an ICE person to work on the sourcing of raw materials for battery electric vehicles. We have to specialize now." Farley's aim in making this move is to accelerate innovation, enhance quality, and reduce expenses while also guaranteeing Ford's capacity to deliver high-volume production. Ford has also restructured its corporate reporting system. The updated reporting system aims to provide investors with more transparency compared to the previous approach of reporting outcomes by geographical regions. John Lawler mentioned that the new structure represents the current perspective and operational approach of Ford's senior executives, including CEO Jim Farley, towards the company's business. Undoubtedly, Ford's CEO has been open about the losses and mistakes of the company. Many people are afraid that Ford is booking huge losses and it might suffer even more in the future. On the other hand, many people are praising his transparency and believe that Farley knows what he is doing. Some have compared him to GM's CEO Mary Barra, who has faced severe backlash and criticism for sharing plans and goals that seem impossible to achieve. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel.